Okay, so this is a video for Unit 2, which you're going to be taking today, so be ready for this. Right, so when withdrawing cash from an ATM, now you know an ATM means a automatic teller machine. What is the account holder required to input? Right, you always need to put in your card, but the only thing you need to put in extra to your card is your PIN. You don't have to put anything else in, so that's easy, okay? Next one, what is a direct debit? Now, a direct debit is when I need to pay for something every month, and the company can actually take the money out of my bank and put it into their bank, right? And the best way of saying it is a method of making regular payments. So it's A, right? Now, the thing about it is 1 month it might be £40, the next month it might be 50, like on my phone bill, depending on how much I spend, and they can just take that money out of my bank. Right, question number 3. Which of the following is the customer provided with when they applied to set up internet banking for the first time? Now, this one I wasn't sure about, but I think what makes the most sense when you first set up internet banking is you get an ID name and a password. That makes most sense. Like, I was kind of between C and D, but I think it's C, so let's go with C. All right. Question number 4. When you're speaking to someone from a telephone banking call centre, they should never ask for which of the following. They should never ask for your full password. So the answer is C, because they normally ask for like letter 1 or letter 2 of your password. Right, a debit card cannot be used to obtain cash on which of the following. Now remember, a debit card, that's the thing that's linked to your current account. And this is your own money, so when it runs out, it runs out. Apart from, in my current account, I've got something called an overdraft. So when it goes into a minus, I'm allowed to use it. Anyway, a debit card cannot be used to obtain cash from which of the following. You can't get cash from an internet store, so it's C. Right, Barber has a credit card which she uses frequently. How often will Barber be required to make payments to the credit card issuer? Now, it's always monthly. Right, next. 7. A credit card cannot be used for. Now, remember, a credit card, this is not your money. It's when the bank gives you. So, for example, my bank gave me £12,000 of credit. So that's not my money. So when I pay it back, what am I going to have to pay back with it? I'm going to have to pay back in interest. Right? So it can't be used for paying money into my account. I'm not allowed to use my credit card to put into my current account. They don't let me do that. Right. Karen has just received her new card and increased credit limit. Which type of card has she received? Now, if she's got a new card and it's got a credit limit, it's going to be a credit card. That's no such thing. That's not. So it's going to be between credit and debit, and it's credit. Right, for me, this is the worst way of borrowing money. It's something called a store card. A store card is when you go to somewhere like New Look, or like, I don't know what I'm saying, New Look. What else would they, like Primark or something? And they'll give you a card that's got their name on, and what they do is, it's like a credit card, but it's issued to a shop. So they'll let you spend maybe like £2,000 on that card, but the big problem is, when you try and pay that money back, you'll have to pay back like a huge interest. It could be as much as 40%. So that's what it is. Okay, which of the following is used to calculate the cost of borrowing money? It's called APR, which is the annual, I can't spell annual, which basically means per year, percentage rate, annual percentage rate. Right, number 11, to encourage people to pay in advance, train season tickets they're normally discounted. Question number 12, which of the following is the main purpose of insurance? Right, the main purpose of insurance is always to, what is it? What's the main purpose of insurance? Right, it's not danger management, because you're not managing danger. Like, you know, if your insurance gets breaking your leg, it doesn't actually manage that danger. So I think it's spreading risk. I think it's spreading the risk. Okay, why is motor insurance a legal requirement for drivers? It's because it protects the interests of others. Because the thing is, if others crash into you and they haven't got insurance, you don't actually get to have your car fixed. So you don't get it paid for anyway. So that's the main reason. Right, legally, people are allowed to insure their spouse against death. Now, spouse is another word for like partner, so like your wife or your husband. This is due to the legal principle of, now I put the wrong answer, so listen to this. The answer is C. It's insurable interest. It's because I've got an interest in them being alive. For example, with my wife being alive, I've got an interest in that because she's able to look after my little boy, and also she's able to pay towards our house. So therefore, I'm able to insure against her death. Right, sounds a bit horrible to be honest. I don't really want to talk about that. Anyway, moving on. Question number 15. Which of the following shows details of transactions into and out of a bank? Is a bank statement. That's what it is. Right. Josh receives his bank statement and notices there's a minus sign. Now, this happens quite a lot to Mr. Robinson in front of the balance. This means this account is overdrawn, which is a low point because when you're overdrawn, you have to pay interest. Can't spell interest? Oh well. Let's move on. Right, which of the following is most likely to be listed as a non-essential expenditure on a budget? Now, non-essential means it's not something you need. So, like, when I go out and buy loads of, like, cycling stuff, it's not essential. I don't need it. I just want it, right? So, it's most likely to be things like fashion accessories because you need to buy food, you need to pay back your loans, you need to pay your rent, but you don't always need to be in fashion. It's nice, but you don't need to be. Anyway, citizen advice is which of the following? I don't know. I've just Googled it and it's a charity, so easy, right? And there are people who will tell you if you've got any like massively financial problems, they'll help you with it. I don't really understand with these case studies what they're doing here because all it is it's a picture of some people buy a shop. Anyway, moving on. Right, question number 19. When buying items in a shop using a debit card, it is possible to obtain cash from the shop at the end of the transaction. Now they've logged in those are scary words. That's just at the end of buying it, transaction. Right, this is known as cashback. Easy. Right, next one. Oh. Which of the following interest rates, if any, apply directly to a debit card? Right. I think it's none because with a debit card you shouldn't have to pay any interest on it, only if you go into your overdraft. So I'm going to say A, none. Right, what is the main difference between a debit card and a credit card? Right, only a debit card is linked directly to a current account. Both can be used to obtain cash, both can be used to pay items to a shop, both can be getting goods online. So there we are. Right, these are the ones which are slightly more complicated, or they look it in at first. Like you might have to get your calculator out. Which of the following would be most suitable for purpose for a personal loan? Right, there's no point in getting a personal loan for purchasing a house, because instead of getting a personal loan, you'd get a mortgage. Reducing your mortgage debt, again, that's to do with mortgages. Remortgaging, no, so it's buying a car. Like a personal loan is normally anything up to about maybe 20 grand, normally. Right. Oh, now this is a bit complicated, but it's all right. Variable APR means the APR will go, APR is your interest on your loan. So I've got a variable APR on my interest on my mortgage. So that means my mortgage might be 2% 1 year, and then the bank can change it to being 4%. So they can keep on putting up and down the interest. Like, lots of people prefer to have a fixed rate mortgage because at least they know what the interest rate's going to be. If it was fixed, they might say it's 6%. But it's always going to be 6% across the whole time. So basically the answer is A. It can change in the future. It doesn't depend on the amount borrowed. Not on that or on that. It's A. Right, this took me a few times, but it's easy, okay? What's the cost you'd pay per year on a £7,500 loan over 5 years if you bank with this bank, right? Now, the key word here is it says per year. So overall, over the 5 years, when you take that loan out, you'll have to pay back 9475.2, right? So all you've got to do is divide that by 5, and it will equal D, because it's per year. So the answer is 1895 and 4p. There we are. Okay, so this is my favourite question. We all know the answer to this one. So they're going to buy a new house. That means they're spending a lot of money. They need to move it quickly, this money. So what's the best way of doing it? Remember, how do you remember this one? You think, oh yeah, chap lips. So the answer is chaps. Right, let's move on quickly. 26. Bill and Maggie need to buy some furniture for their new house, but they don't have any money in their current account to pay for it. What they most like to use, now they're not going to use chaps, that's stupid for that one. They're probably not going to do a cheque, because a cheque is just your money in your account, so that doesn't make any sense. They're not going to do the debit card, because that also is just the amount of money in your account. So the answer is C, they can use a credit card. Right, as soon as they move in, Bill and Maggie will have to notify their gas and electricity providers. Now the amounts vary month for month, but they want to pay all their bills monthly. We all know that is a direct debit, because the money's directly taken out of their bank by those gas and electricity people. Right, 28. Paul looks quite sad in that picture, to be honest. Right, Paul, oh, there we are, he's worried about his finances. He's spending more than he earns, and his debts are getting out of control. Again, like Mr. Robinson. Which of the following would be the most appropriate for Paul to go for impartial debt counselling? Right, it's always these guys. It's always citizen advice. They're the people. So I might give them a call. Okay, 29. What should Paul do first before attending his first counselling meeting? He should, now it's a very obvious one, should he cut up all his credit cards? No, because he might need them. Should he sell his car? No. Take out a new loan? No. He should prepare a new budget. Right, final question. Which of the following is Paul most likely to be advised to do? It's not going to be about increasing his expenditure. He's not going to be told to increase his saving. He's not going to reduce his income. He needs to reduce his non-essential expenditure, which basically means reduce the things he doesn't really need. There we are.